Hi, I'm Crystal Imrie, and I am the marketing manager here at Fresh Inc. Branding, Marketing, and Promotion. I've been working with businesses for over 15 years in their marketing, from traditional print media to digital media to on full-scale digital marketing campaigns. I want to go over today the basic branding methods to help you get your business online. We're going to go over branding basics, website best practices, and also how to build your digital marketing toolkit. So to do that, you need to start with a good logo. What is a good logo? What makes up a good logo? So there are 5 principles of effective logo design: simple, memorable, timeless, versatile, and appropriate. So keep your logo as simple as possible. Don't try to throw in the kitchen sink. This will clutter the messaging and confuse your audience. A good logo is simple and stripped down of anything that's not necessary. It's a good thing to have your audience take away their own interpretation of it without it being really literal. Font choices are a very important step to a good logo. A good graphic designer will instinctively know what fonts to choose and what will be the most effective to get your message across. It's all psychological. Some fonts are traditional in style, while others may be more modern, casual, friendly, or professional. Know what represents your business going in. Keep it memorable. Originality of your logo is important, but there are certain visuals that make sense to your business or industry. Sometimes it's best not to reinvent the wheel, but when we carefully balance things, we can appropriately put them at the forefront. Your audience should be interested and understand, and then take something special away from it at the end. Doing research on your business and industry will help you step outside the confines of the norm. Also, keep it timeless. Be careful of trends. What seems to be the latest in design and font choices now may not carry through long term. Tried and tested design fundamentals and fonts may be better choice and are looking for a longer term logo that can stand the test of time. A good logo will work on many different applications. Make sure you consider how your logo will look in a small area like a pen to a very large application like a billboard. And if the fonts used in the logo can be used on web or mobile devices. A good graphic designer will know that. Make sure that your logo is appropriate. It seems like a good idea to add in some favorite visuals or colors from your personal repertoire, or perhaps you saw something from another logo you really like. But ask yourself this question: does it make sense to my business or my industry? If not, don't do it. So what is the difference between a logo and a brand? A logo is an easily recognizable reproduction and a design element, often including a name, symbol, and specified colors. It is a quick visual representation of a brand's message and positioning. A well-designed logo should evoke some memory of emotion from the viewer depending upon their relationship with the brand. So, what is a brand? A brand is the culmination of every interaction with, experience of, thought about, and marketing practice by a business. A brand encompasses the positioning, the message, and communications, and also is the visual design. That is the voice, and it promotes your marketing and presents the company. From the audience perspective, a brand is the reputation of a business that is created by how the business makes up what it feels like, and what their experience is like with the business and what they think of the business. Think of it this way. A logo all by itself is merely a graphic element with a name. A brand is everything, tangible and intangible. That represents the business and gives a logo meaning. When combined, a well-designed logo and brand strategy help you effectively and efficiently reach your audience, communicate your message, and also your value and your benefits. Visually attract more attention and create the extraordinary. We're just going to go over some basic brand assets. A brand is a collection of perceptions, experiences, impressions, and knowledge of a person that has about your organization, product, service, or place. It's really about the perceived emotion and functional benefits, the actual benefits or attributes of your offering. A good brand can build anticipation or excitement in the viewer's eyes. For example, a cup of coffee versus a cup of Starbucks, an amusement park versus Disneyland, or a laptop versus a MacBook Pro. Use these elements consistently and it will build your brand recognition and trust with your audience. Brand choreography is the orchestration of all appropriate marketing messages and tactics across touchpoints, including traditional print, digital, and social media platforms. This links to the consumer's basic buying process to provide solutions at each step and as audiences seek to reach their goals of acquiring information, making decisions, doing research. The end result is the successful achievement of business branding and marketing objectives. Brand choreography is a customer-focused model that aims to deliver the right message to the right person in the right place to maximize their experience and satisfy their information needs. Essentially, brand choreography takes you to where your audience is. So today we're going to look at what branding really means. So here are some examples of companies that have done their branding well. This example is of Starbucks. You can see here that Starbucks started from a very simple brown logo, and it had all the components of what the business offered, including coffee, tea, and spices. But because Starbucks has spent so much time in their marketing and also implementing their brand across all their media outlets, people started to recognize Starbucks as their brand experience. So they were able to take those elements away, repurpose their logo, and kind of evolve it into the logo that you see in the middle. And then from there, they could take away Starbucks coffee because everybody knew that that mermaid made up Starbucks. And then now that's their logo, just the mermaid. The graphic to the right actually explains what Starbucks is in terms of its voice and tone. All those color palettes that they use, the experience when you get right into their coffee shop, the baristas and their attitude and what they offer there, and also down to just their coffee cup sleeves to any of their stoppers. So this is a really good example of a company that's doing their branding well. So now that you've established your branding, you need to come up with a communication strategy. Now, to come up with a communication strategy, you need to figure out who you're targeting. So who are your target audiences? A target audience is the intended audience or readership of a publication, advertisement, or other message. In marketing and advertising, it's a particular group of consumers with a predetermined target market identified as the targets or recipients for a particular advertisement or message. Who are you marketing to, and what products and services are you marketing? Make your content relevant to your target audience using images, wording, video, hashtags. Use demographic data like age, location, interest, occupation, and determine who your target audience is. Build an active and engaged target audience. So for example, this would be a made-up audience persona. So say, for instance, we see here the person's age, name, demographic, occupation, where they're located, and what is their potential pain. So for instance, if their pain is, I love to plan adventure stops for my family while we travel, but there's no info online on how to find these places in a particular area, therefore, we need to solve that pain for this person. So understanding who your target audience is first before you try to solve a problem is always the best method when it comes to communication strategy. A visual strategy looks at your target audience and the goal you want to achieve for a particular campaign or project. It then defines a visual content solution and speaks to your audience in order to achieve that goal. Part of that solution is identifying all the types of content you need to produce and where the content should be distributed. Another factor that the visual strategy will define is the creative direction, the color palette, illustration styles, and other visual elements that will be most engaging for your audience and best deliver your message. Your visual strategy must balance the requirements of your brand's visual identity while also accounting for the unique needs of your specific audience and campaign. Ultimately, your visual strategy will serve as an essential guide, ensuring that every piece of the content within your campaign serves your end goal and speaks to your audience. So now that you have your visual strategy established, how are you going to implement it? So we're going to get into just some basic fundamentals of website development. And what are those best practices? So if you hire a web developer, if you've decided to take on web development yourself to save money, here are some basic tips on websites and how to effectively achieve your communication strategy on a website. So in order to do that, most people on the web don't read. Keep your information quite digestible. Long text blocks will scare people off. Tell your story visually with images, graphics, and larger headers and video. Avoid industry jargon. Be very clear about what you want to communicate. And long-form content should be reserved for news or blogs of that nature. Again, video is also a very, very powerful learning tool. Also, make sure that your website uses responsive design. Responsive design is ensuring your site looks great on all devices. More than half of internet users are on mobile devices. Responsive websites rank better on search engines. Also, use images wisely. So ensure that the images are properly optimized. Use relevant, high-quality images, and consider hiring a professional photographer. Also, make sure it matches your brand identity. You would have established that early on in your visual strategy. Another tool that you must need for a website and to build trust with your audience is an SSL certificate. Protect your users by encrypting all data a user submits on your website. It's better for SEO and earns your users' trust. Avoid the warning, site not secure. That will scare off your customers on your website. SEO. So these are the very basic fundamentals of what that means. So SEO is search engine optimization, which is key for new users finding your website. Ensure each page has descriptive title and descriptions meta tags. Research keywords that your users are entering into search engines and add these to your content and meta tags. Link to relevant internal and external resources. Use Google Analytics, embed Google Maps. Make sure that your site loads fast. So now that you've established what your website is going to look like and the key elements of a website, you want to get into your digital marketing toolkit. So create a Google business listing. It provides a product and service details, engage with customers through online review, build trust by responding promptly and thoughtfully, improve your SEO by responding to every review, and provide helpful information. Reviews are one of the most significant sources of info consumers use to make best decisions. They also represent a huge opportunity for businesses to engage with customers and gain valuable feedback about their business. Adding photos and videos of your profile is a great way to capture consumer attention. Your social media. Now, here's a very good social media checklist to follow. Pick your social channels. Not all social channels are going to necessarily be where your target audience exists. Understand your target audience first, then you can pick your social channels. Complete your profile. Follow other businesses, brands, and prospects. Keep an eye on your mentions. Keep an eye on your mentions. Define your content strategy. Assemble your content calendar. Engage with others. Find your brand voice, promote your social channels, and monitor your social presence. So, how do you plan your social media marketing? Awareness, consideration, intent, conversion. Awareness. So, your goal is educating and building a relationship with prospective clients, as well as increasing loyalty among existing customers. Consideration. So customers are interested in learning more about your product or service, and it may be evaluating how well it fits their needs or how it compares to their competitor. Intent. The customer is closing in on purchasing decisions after consideration. Goals at this stage must be a form submission on Facebook or your website. A private message from a potential customer is also a key way to get intent. And ultimately, conversion. The customer has completed the goal, such as lead submission or phone call. In addition to driving this goal, conversion content can also spur repeat purchases or referrals. And finally, create killer content. So how do you plan that? Content type, content format, social channel, call to action. So content type is an owned user-generated live video, customer review, product demo, lifestyle behind the scenes, how to company business info. These are definitely some key content types that will help you engage. Make sure that you have a call to action. So visit a website, call now, or learn more, and that will link to your website. You can also use channels such as Pinterest, Houzz, YouTube, all kinds of different types of social channels. So thank you for joining us today. We hope that this will give you some good branding basics to get you started in a successful marketing campaign.